Financial disclaimer. The information provided in this stream is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional financial or investment advice. We are not licensed financial advisors, and the content presented here is based on our personal opinions and experiences. Investing in stocks and other financial instruments involves risk, including the potential loss of capital. Any investment decisions you make are solely your own responsibility, and you should conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment choices. The content we share on this stream may not be accurate, complete, or up to date. Market conditions and financial regulations can change rapidly, and we cannot guarantee the accuracy or reliability of the information presented. We do not endorse or promote any specific stocks, companies, or investment strategies. Any actions you take based on the content of this stream are at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses or damages that may occur as a result. Always remember that past performance is not indicative of future results, and no investment is guaranteed to be profitable. Make informed decisions and consider your risk tolerance before investing any funds. By accessing and using this stream, you acknowledge and agree that we are not responsible for any investment decisions you make as a result of the content presented. You are encouraged to seek advice from qualified financial professionals for personalized guidance. Please invest responsibly and only with money you can afford to lose.
Hey man, just found the next guaranteed multi-bagger.
Hey man, you found another one? What is it this time?
Come check this out.
Okay, next please. How can I help you, young man?
We want to go in on DFNS. These guys are playing chess. They put advanced artificial intelligence in the business description. Advanced.
Well, that's fantastic. A really smart decision, young man. We can put that checked and it's gone.
Hey everybody, welcome to Laughing Stock. How are you, Dane?
Good, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good, good. Advanced artificial intelligence. What do you think about it?
That's even better. It's like the next step up.
Yeah. So why didn't we think about it?
I don't know, but if AI is good, AI is even better.
Yeah. Imagine AI.
I'm not going to jump ahead, but I can see that's the future.
Yeah. So that's the new thing now, I think. And you just put that in the name, and it should be good again. And you know, people always blame themselves when they stumble upon great ideas. It's always like, oh, genius, why didn't I think about it? This is one of them, I think.
Yeah, I think the more acronyms you can add into your AI business, the better off you're going to do.
Yeah.
There's probably a direct correlation to how much your equity's worth.
I will also say it makes the world a better place.
For sure.
Okay. Before we start today, I just, the World Cup is on. My country's now out for some reason. I was very hopeful. Tomorrow is the final, and I think we should have been there. But apparently, when the ball hits a cable in the air, it's all good in this World Cup. So
they can't prove it.
No, no, they can't prove it. So
no, ball has a sensor in it, and it's impossible that sensor didn't work.
Obvious. It was an obvious non-hit, right?
I don't care what your eyes see. Okay?
Yeah, no, forget about the eyes and the spontaneous reaction to a lot of the people.
Honestly, your eyes are basically useless. They're guessing at what's going on around you.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
That was so bullshit, and we feel wrong. We also had a goal, you know, disallowed. Which, okay, you can argue that it is of course a push, but if you're gonna blow on all of them, you're gonna have a lot of issues, you know. So it was very soft, but okay, it's over. We had a fantastic run, I think, and everyone knows who Haaland is now, so that's good.
Yeah, you guys are pretty much world famous from that tournament. So
Yeah. But you know, from our perspective, we were world famous before.
true.
So you just noticed us now.
Well, okay, you've been officially noticed by the
Yeah.
world. That's saying
But-
something. I mean, trust me, like you ask anybody, I feel like in the US that watches sports now, they know who Holland is. So
Yeah.
That's
I think he got 20 million more followers in the time he was in the World Cup.
I guarantee you, if before the World Cup started, if you asked the average American to name like, I don't know, 3 or 4 soccer players, they couldn't do it.
No.
And now I guarantee you, almost everybody that watched anything of it could. So that's a big deal, just in terms of like recognition in our,
Yeah.
at least in this country, just because soccer does. And I don't know. I'm assuming it's just because of the correlation of like your season being kind of when all our other sports are on. I always feel like that's the problem with like soccer in terms. And then the other thing too is because the European League's so big, it's hard to watch it here because every game's at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Europe have a pretty. There are other good leagues around the world now, but Europe has like the iron hand over. They're not gonna want to give away like the good leagues, you know, even if the football is growing in other countries as well. I think like for sure USA, if you want really, you can create a very good league over there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think the MLS just needs time. It needs to work on the way it's set up. You know, like you guys don't have salary caps in some of your leagues, so it's like you can't have a salary cap and expect to get great players because there's just no way. Like you're not going to compete money wise to get the top talent. So
even like the next big, like everyone says, I disagree a little bit with this, but everyone says that Premier League is the best and the biggest and all that. I like Manchester United, so I'm watching the Premier League every week, you know, but I think the Spanish league is also fantastic and very, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they even the Spanish league are complaining about they are losing players to the Premier League because of the money, you know. So even like if you call it then the next biggest or even the biggest are complaining about the competition to certain leagues, it will be impossible for MLS to attract the same. The only chance you have is like getting them when they are kind of finished a bit, you know.
Well,
get them over.
yeah, I'll say 2 things. One, hope that the U.S. doesn't actually undertake it as a large thing because they would outspend anywhere. And America would quickly become a Premier League. But the other thing too is the one thing that MLS has is it's actually opposite to most of the other, like around the world, it's opposite time-wise, season-wise. So you could potentially get players who in the off season wanted to play there if they wanted to. I don't know how. It's obviously you can't do both, but like there's maybe a way you could finagle something like that.
David Beckham, he got permission to leave LA Galaxy for the holiday season there to play in AC Milan in Italy.
Right.
So, but that is very unique. I don't think that works in the long run, and it needs to be like a transitional phase or something. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting though to see what sticks now in the States in terms of the interest and all that stuff, you know.
Yeah, slowly but surely. But I see Kev's here. Kev from Lakeland, Florida. Welcome. Sorry, we're talking football. Hey, so one question one final question before we get off this. So is the 3rd and 4th place game a big deal at all? Does anyone care about this game?
In the World Cup, no, not really. But I mean, and especially not for the teams that are there now, England and Argentina, they both want to win. They don't care about the 3rd spot. But of course, when they are there, they want to win the 3rd instead of the 4th.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there's any actual like.
No, for the people, for the neutral people, no one really cares about it as much. But I mean, if Norway came to the semifinal and lost the semifinal, that would be a huge game for us. So it depends a bit on who is playing there.
Yeah, so it's probably more just the third and fourth place countries are interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, but when you if you speak to someone who is involved now, they will say like they treat that game very serious and want to win it, of course.
Yeah, because just in the States, we really don't have like a consolation type game usually for that kind of for like anything really. So like
Yeah.
if you don't
Actually
make it
only
to
in the
first or
World Cup.
second, like no one cares.
No, but it's only in the World Cup that I know of this.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that they have it.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I think I read somewhere that he wants to get rid of it. But I can't see that. I don't think that is true because he only speaks the language of money, and that the game will generate more money.
True. Yeah, it's just another game to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
interested to see what the viewership in America is of the final for the World Cup, because I feel like even though obviously the U.S. isn't still in it, I still think that they'll get a bigger draw just because I feel like this is probably at least in my lifetime, this is the most successful World Cup in terms of like people watching it. Maybe it's just because I was watching it more. I don't know. Maybe I just feel that way.
Yeah, I haven't seen the numbers, but usually. What are they saying? Like worldwide, the World Cup final is like by far the biggest event.
Yeah, I think it's like literally like over 1 billion people.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say 2. I think it's
maybe 2 now. I don't know because I mean there's a lot of people out there, and
yeah,
I feel like everybody watches soccer or football.
But no, it has been a great World Cup though. A lot of special things. No one seems to like the FIFA president anymore because of a lot of things. I am one of them. I think when he put out the tickets for more than $1,000 per seat for normal families, I saw someone interview like people who were there, and of course they have edited the movie a little bit, but it is at the same time a little bit telling because they asked them what they do for a living, and a lot of the answers was like, oh, my father owns a big business, or yeah, I am a CEO in some tech companies. Like it all of a sudden it's just for the rich people.
I mean, I will say, like, I guess I think of the World Cup, like I would think of like the playoffs and the Super Bowl, like here, and like the average person, you're not anticipating on going to that game.
You can't afford it, and
it's just expensive. So like I get it that sure, it's probably a lot of the rich, but like the World Cup even more so because now you have to travel.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's kind of one of those things that like you might maybe make it to one-off to a game or something if it really matters to you, but the average people aren't traveling for that anyways. So whatever, but sure, it might cater to the rich, but that's just life, to be honest.
In the club football tournaments, like the big tournaments, and some people argue like if you ask a football fan if they want the club team to win like the Champions League or the country to win the World Cup, I think they will struggle to answer because it's huge, the Champions League as well. So if you go to a Champions League game in Europe and you watch a good game, which is kind of like on a little bit on the same level as a good game in the World Cup, you will only have to spend a fraction of what you would have to do this World Cup. So it's stealing a little bit away the sport as we know it here from my perspective at least. So I know there's a lot of reactions. It's not right, I think, but it is how it is, and the World Cup has been hugely successful. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they're gonna change the formula.
No, they're not gonna change it. So, but they will change it though if the stadiums are not filling up. That's the only thing that can reverse it. Yeah, I know.
All right. Let's get
enough.
Let's get stocks. All right. How was your week?
My week was slow. I did a few. I think I did my most stupid trade ever this week. I think I got stopped after 30 seconds, Dane.
I mean, I did a stupider trade, which I did. I wish I would have got stopped after
I
30
think we
seconds.
had a competition this week to do the
I
most stupid
had one of my
mistake.
worst trades ever where I lost an absurd amount.
Yeah.
And
I did speak to you a little bit about it. It's just a bit telling that it is a bit challenging now, I think. We are still in the base. I'm going to jump into the charts. We are still in the base here. I'm looking at the QQQ now. It was a little bit of a gap down on Friday, yesterday. It did reverse a bit and came back down a little bit here. Right now, I have no idea where this is going. We will cover a little bit of what we think during the stream. But I think if you go from the week, if I just highlight from Monday, which is here, like these days, if you include from Friday, you know, the top from Friday a week ago to the bottom of Friday yesterday was 5.5%, which is a lot in a week for something like this.
yeah.
I think it was very tricky to do something this week. So I tried to limit myself to do one trade per day. Some days I didn't even trade because I was so stupid and I felt like I'm not successful right now. But on Friday, I also took ORKA, ORKA, which worked straight away. I saw there's some high volume coming in straight from the beginning. And it didn't really move. I got in when it moved like 2% or something. And then it kept going to 11% up. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. But you said like maybe it was just because when there are down days like this, there's only a few stocks that work. So it gets a bit crowded in those, you know. People notice them easy.
Yeah.
But either way, this is the successful trade for my week. Together with Dave, I have to say Dave impresses me every day. It just doesn't want to go down. It seems like it bounced down, hit the 9 EMAs perfectly on Friday and reversed back up again. And it's becoming one of my best trades for the year.
Yeah, it looks good, man. It
Yeah.
still looks good.
Yeah, it still looks good. And there's some volume coming in too, you know, and it's in the right group with the software and everything going on for it now. So yeah, I'm still not trimming there. I'm just trailing. So yeah. No, that was my week. I feel if it wasn't for yesterday with the ORKA, I think I would have categorized my week as a painful week.
Yeah, I mean, I should be happy because I actually did pretty good this week. I was up 7%, but when I say I'm up 7%, mind you, my rate fluctuates quite a bit. And at one point, I was up 16%.
Yeah.
So I managed to lose 9% between two trades, which one of them was like probably like a 6% loss, or maybe even 7. I don't know how much of it made. It was painful, and it was just stupid execution mistake, and then kind of being shocked by what I missed, and then taking too long to even pull the trigger to just get out. So, but once again, in my execution, like there's just certain things that you almost have to run into it once and have it happen to you, and then it makes me think. And then yesterday, I was looking at SLS and I caught it right when it popped. I had a buy order in, and as it approached my buy order, I got nervous, which I think was from the day previous when I got hit so hard. So I canceled the order. Of course, it goes down just to where I bought and then flies up from there, and it would have recovered everything I'd lost the day before and made more. So that was another painful follow-up to having a terrible Thursday or Wednesday, whatever day I got smacked. So
why I think it's so useless to say just throw away your emotions in trading, because it doesn't work like that. You can think that you are capable of doing it, but your history comes and haunts you, right?
Yeah, and
it makes
you know,
you
it
think
makes me
different.
realize, yeah, and then almost like it's funny too, because like you bring up a good point, because like my rules aren't rules necessarily because some kind of like mathematical situation. It's how to handle the emotion of what's happening in very quick like time frames. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I found in the mornings that like for instance, yesterday, SLS normally wouldn't be the kind of stock I would go into because usually I want something to kind of like pop right away. And it did pop pretty quickly, but I almost like took my time yesterday. I was kind of letting a stock show me that it was going to make a move. I didn't like hop into something like, you know, on like a 1 minute candle or anything like that. And SLS, as I saw it start to jump, that triggered to me. And I'm like, okay, this one looks like it could go. And, you know, like I said, I had my buy order in at 12.12. And if you zoom in right there, you can see it's right as it's starting to break out.
Yeah.
And of course, it was above 12.12. It was like at like 12.20 or 12.30, and it pulled back to 12.10, which at the time was the intraday 10-minute moving average. So everything looked perfect. And of course, I canceled it for whatever dumb reason. Just getting nervous that, you know, because at the time too, that you have to put this in context with the market, it was just plummeting at that point.
The market was scary. It was what was it at the most, like 4%, 3%?
I don't know, but it did not look good. So
No.
I just like hesitated with all everything in the backdrop going on.
Which I think is the right thing to do, Dane, right? Normally, but in this particular case, no, right? It was
I was
the
gonna
wrong thing
say,
to do. But it's not like a mistake, I would say.
I mean, it's a mistake because my rule says that you could have taken this one, and you know, this is the kind of upside, or like this is a chart pattern that if you see, it's worth the opportunity to take on. Okay. But the problem is so the way I'm looking at like situational awareness now, in terms of, and because you have to think most of my trades are going to be in the daytime. So like within a day, you know, it might not be in a few minutes. It might take the entire day, but it's going to be in the day. So in the market context of like the whole market's like tanking, that doesn't mean I won't trade on that day, but the way I'm going to trade changes. I'm not going to necessarily hop into something quickly because a lot of the ones that pop in the morning pull right back because it's a lot of people trying to probably pop the price up before they sell.
It happens all the time now.
Yes. So like you almost don't want to rush on these days.
Yeah.
But and then, you know, the overall market's in a decline right now. And there's backdrop of like the Iran war possibly picking up and blah, blah, blah. So like you just handle things a little bit differently. My goal is to keep a tighter stop, which is why I got so screwed on the other trade because it skipped right past my tighter stop and then I froze for a second, which led to an extremely painful gap down. And that's just me saying like, listen, next time it gaps through your thing, just sell at the market and take the hit. Because honestly, it would have been like a 2 or 3% hit versus 6 or 7. So
can you with your broker, can you like put that in the order, like
I can initially, but the problem is if I'm going to take the trade, I need to just take it almost. If I had the setup where you can buy shares by clicking buttons, I know some of those guys have it set up like that. Yeah. That would be different, but I don't. I have to put the order in. And a lot of times I adjust the order based on what's going on and whatnot. So like, I don't want to sit there and type in this big long order with a perfect stop loss put in, and then the order doesn't execute because it took so goddamn long for me to type this in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you have to think about this too. When I'm going to make a decision, I'm making the decision based on what the chart's doing, what the NASDAQ or the S&P is doing. Is there news? And how much momentum's coming into this? What is its current volume versus the normal for like the 20-day volume average? And I have to do all that in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So anything that takes longer than that can either make you miss the trade or, you know, get an entrance that, you know, you lost 3 or 4% because you took so long to get into it. Because when some of these things pop, they move. They're like a rocket. So it's like that timing of being able to get into something and not hesitate is extremely important. It's probably the greatest skill in what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if it doesn't work, you have to have like the emotional stability to make sure you get out. And that's where I fell with, you know, it sounds so dumb because in hindsight, I'm like, you are such an idiot. But whatever, you know, I mean, at the same time, I look, if I would have had that, I wouldn't have taken that loss and I would have hit SLS. It could have been a fantastic week, you know, over 20%. So
yeah,
My
So
my uh
the
my
process,
hindsight from this week is looking at these trades like, hey, in the future, if it starts to break down on you, this is how you react. If something
yeah,
starts to take off, take it, and this would have been the instance where I would have had plenty of time to put my stop loss in because it would have flew
yeah,
up
yeah,
past where I bought in. And I could have even put a trailing stop or whatever, you know what I mean? Or like
yeah,
slowly adjusted it, blah blah blah.
yeah.
So I'm hoping that each week these little things I'm learning and things I haven't ran into solidify what to do in these situations where when I need to make a split second decision, I make the right one and not the wrong one. Because
Yeah.
that's honestly the trick to what I'm trying to do.
The process seems to be good now, and it's down to execution, right?
Yeah. No, I would argue at this point, like most of like the questions and things I have in terms of like how to find the right thing, what momentum looks like, what I'm looking for, what breaks out, what shows strength, and then also like in terms of situational awareness, like how you should handle the day when it's a down day versus an up day versus like the overall market's downtrending versus overall market's uptrending. All those things I've now have broken out into like on this day you would do this, on this day you do this. But then when it comes to the execution, it's just like you have to follow my rules, which my rules on when the market's in a downtrend plus it's a down day is that stop loss should be basically break even as quickly as you can make it.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty simple rule. But in terms of executing it, if it does gap down on you, who cares if you take a 1 or 2% loss if it's going to just drop on you? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just working on my mentality when I'm doing these things.
This is where that quote comes in, right? Love your stops, not your stocks.
True. That's a fucking quote.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was looking at the giga cap companies to try to, because I've felt a little bit like there's a chance, like you just said, with everything going on in the world right now, there is a legit chance that we won't break out here, but break down instead, And also, if you take into consideration the pretty steep move we have in this bull run from April, that happened pretty fast. So I think it's also a bit naturally that it's going to slow down. But then I took a look at the giga caps like Apple. Apple doesn't seem to care about anything.
I
Apple
was
is at
actually
all-time
like,
high.
Apple's the only one that's just flying right now.
Yeah, they seem to do really well, and then a few of these others, they are a bit more ugly. Like I wouldn't consider them for swing trading, anything like that here. But at the same time, if you look at Microsoft, for example, there is a double bottom here. It did undercut here, on this day, and then the next day, look at the massive volume it got up, and then a little bit bounce up from there. It's struggling a bit now to get through all the moving averages.
Mm-hmm.
But you can argue like maybe Microsoft has found a bottom here and is going to go up, Nvidia, I don't know, pretty sideways move for a long time now. I don't think this chart looks terrible,
Yeah, it's stuff's hanging in there. It's just it's definitely like everything looks touch and go right now. And like my market strength and like my screeners, they're just not returning a lot right now. So it's
no. I was saying to you before the stream, like my daily watch list have two stocks for Monday.
To be honest, I think what you're trying to do swing trading right now is tough, man.
It's tough, yeah.
It is really tough in this environment to hold, and like unless you catch a Dave and then like you have that big cushion like you do.
Yeah.
Oh.
But there are like signs that may be telling us that we are gonna break out anyway. I'm monitoring Tesla quite a bit, because if you go to the monthly or the weekly chart on Tesla, I brought this up on the last stream, I think, or the one before. To me, it looks like it's about to do something, Um,
Hasn't really broken down past that 20 for a while.
yeah, and it's just like if you look at the weekly, it starts to be more and more tight, and when the chart looks good on the monthly, the weekly, and maybe also the daily eventually, you will find some good moves in either direction, you know. Um, but that's kind of my point, though. Like, you know, you saw Meta was gapping up through all the moving averages a bit, and then came back a little bit again. But a lot of these stocks are doing, you know, either they seem to have maybe bottom a little bit, or like Apple, they don't give a shit and just keep going up. And these companies are the ones that have driven the bull market, like the AI boom, you know, with all the funding and the splashing of the cash that they are implementing into that entire space, you know.
Yeah, and I think in this environment with everything kind of being so ugly, when you have something like Apple that is doing well, everyone like its chance of going up from there is it goes up only because of the fact it's one of the very few mega caps that are doing super well. So obviously all the institutions are gonna be like, well, just put it in Apple for now because
Yeah,
they're at least
park the
doing
cash
well,
there.
even though everything else is getting slaughtered. So
Yeah,
it almost can like exacerbate like the few stocks that continue to do well in these really shitty environments.
yeah. At least none of these are breaking clearly down except Netflix. Did you see Netflix?
No, I have not.
No,
looked at that.
Netflix got a strong hit.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's
Intuitive
actually
Surgical also. ISRG. That's not a giga cap, I assume. But yeah, Netflix took a dive here. And I thought Netflix looked so good in February. Was really on the move up, and then just on some earnings there, exactly on the earnings day, it has just reversed, and obviously the market didn't like the earnings now either. So I don't know what they are doing. Are you using Netflix a lot?
I use Netflix. I mean, that's one of the main ones I use. I use Netflix. I actually been using Paramount a lot, and that's just
Yeah.
because I'm a big UFC fan. And what do you call it? My kids. There's a couple shows like kid shows on there
Yeah.
that I watch a lot. So, but those I would argue are my two biggest ones that I
Yeah.
use. I mean, we have Prime just because of Amazon, and you know, we do watch stuff on that. And then the other we have access to the other ones. We have Disney, you know, like I don't know. I guess all the standard ones. I have all these stupid streaming services.
Yeah, you kind of have to these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have like normal cable. I just
No.
I don't really like anything. If I'm gonna watch a sport, I can find it on something. So
Yeah. No, but that chart looks ugly right now. So that
not
was
great.
one of the big companies that actually
What do
is
you think
breaking
about
down.
the old SpaceX chart? That's looking great.
Oh yeah, the SpaceX. I saw someone was saying that it looked good on intraday time frame yesterday because it reversed a little bit, but in the end it came back again. And I think I read somewhere that it's the fastest loss of 1 trillion in market cap ever. I don't know if that is correct, but from the top here to the bottom, it's almost 50%.
It's kind of the opposite of the old Drake song, from the top to the bottom. Now we're here.
Yeah. But then you just invert it. That's the trick. And it's
So
a
how
clear
much
breakout.
have we lost? How much percent here? 45% from the high. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but
rough.
invert it, Dane. Have you
Oh yeah, I see
learned
what
nothing?
Look at that chart.
Here, it's a clear breakout.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's almost 20% up.
Oh man. You know, I look at all these dumb charts and flip them, and I'm like, you know, I really should start shorting.
No, but that is true. That's I'm gonna that's my next thing that I'm gonna look into: earning scappers and shorting eventually. Because there are actually, like you said, the more charts you look at, the more ways you spot like another strategy to make money, you know?
Yeah, one stock that I'm curious on. I didn't look at is Lucid.
Yeah, I saw it in
There-
the scans.
It's just had 2 or 3 days in a row. It had a really huge down day on July
Tuesday,
14th, and it
14.
recovered.
Yeah, that was from the bottom there to where it recovered. It's almost 100%.
Oh, okay. It may avoid bankruptcy. So
Okay.
it's probably doing some dead cat bounces.
Yeah. You had a
What,
big gap.
actually, for the first time in forever, let me pull them up in my fundamentals. Well, I'll let you know what the debt looks like here.
It gapped up 25% on a 1 minute time frame. So I guess the news was released there that they're going to survive or something.
Well, it said that the company said that they are not filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So they put out an official statement. So I guess maybe, you know, I could say also I'm not filing for bankruptcy, even though I'm going to do it in a week.
I'm never going to file for bankruptcy. So that's
See, you got the right
that's
idea.
what I'm saying.
Your stock just jumped. So revenues are up. Debt is creeping up. Yeah, it's starting to creep up.
So it looks a bit. This is one of the companies that has always looked a bit ugly, right?
Yeah, which, you know,
Hence
as
the
these
chart, I
EV
guess.
guys, like it's tough it's just tough to even get going in the market. I mean, honestly, besides Tesla, what other ones are there? I mean, Rivian has kind of held up, which is still experimental.
Yeah,
What else is
like
besides Lucid? What's the other one? There's another one that usually
it's more like the already big car manufacturers. They have started to produce electrical cars, you know.
So I think the reason that this is gonna, I mean, they have to put shares out right now. My excess cash has about 700 million in cash. They owe over 700 million in short-term debt. They own almost 3 billion in long-term debt.
I'm
There
surprised
are-
by the market cap, Dane.
What's up?
I'm surprised by the big market cap in this one still.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. So the revenues also basically doubled from last year. So, but they also have been diluting shareholders by like 100 million shares in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's not pretty.
But it's this one of the. Do you know? Have you seen any cars from this brand?
I feel like I've probably seen like one around.
Like,
There's
do
there's
they
a
have like
Rivian.
fans? You know what I mean. Do they have like a fan base like Tesla?
I don't think so.
No.
In around me, and this is the one thing. There's a Rivian place around me. There's like they have like a part of the company here.
Yeah.
So I do see Rivians around here, and I'm assuming it's probably all people who work there.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a ton of them, but I do see them around. So like Rivian to me is like still more in like my eyes like a thing, but I don't know about Lucid. I like if I've seen a Lucid car, I've only maybe seen one.
Yeah, exactly. Here is a headline. Why Morgan Stanley believes Lucid could see potential dilution risk in 2027.
I just pointed it out because they don't have as much money as they do debt.
You should work at Morgan Stanley.
You're welcome. That's my financial. That's what all the money I've lost so far in stocks. It taught me that right there.
Yeah. Why Morgan? This is the genius, I think.
This is why no one looks at these websites anymore, because that's the kind of dumb shit that they'll say.
They that was 2 days ago. So on Thursday then. On Thursday, that was after the the ugly day it had.
They're on it.
Yeah, they are on it. who was it again that said like if the stock has gone up, we would have made money instead of losing?
I don't know, but it's a good statement.
That is solid.
I'm gonna say that to everybody. Actually, when people ask me how I'm doing, I would be
They-
doing better if the stocks went up.
that person should be on the stream. This is the kind of knowledge you get here. I feel not from these big funds.
True. We gotta dumb this down.
Yeah,
I'm like we're talking about like strategies and what's going on here.
it's too complicated.
What we need to do is every time a stock goes up, we'd be like, I think they should raise guidance.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna start saying now.
They especially after the earnings, when our earnings gap up and it's going up 20%, they should raise guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
Lucid's high stakes bet on cheaper EVs, so they're gonna try to improve margins, I guess. Like that's what they have tried to sell into the market, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't even remember why we started to speak about them.
I was just thinking, I'm like, how can I find other companies like this? And I'm like, oh, you idiot, you built an industry comparer. Like, I literally built this. Yeah, Rivian, isn't it new, or is it?
There's one Neo, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking through. There's a couple Chinese ones.
Yeah, Neo is one from China.
Yeah, I mean those are kind of honestly the bigger ones. There's not a lot left. AIIO, the Robo AI one. That's like that one that keeps coming on my screeners. I actually traded that one.
Chart doesn't look too bad either here. No volume, no.
But yeah, in terms of smaller ones, that's one of the ones that I've actually keeps popping up on my screeners, and I've been trading it for pretty somewhat. I think I've traded it twice now, and I'm the last time was it was a good win for me. So
yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's below the 200, and but there was a huge all those purchases in May, kind of propelled this thing. So it stays on my lists for now.
That's from the bottom to the top, almost 1,500% move.
If I had only bought in May,
yeah,
when it was worth 60 cents a share.
That's it would probably qualify for our intro video there.
You know what I need to do? I got to make a screener where the stocks are like 60 cents, and I'm just looking for momentum down there because man, you can really kill it. The one day, what jumped in the morning, and I had Sober, SOBR. I keep seeing this name pop up, and I didn't even know what the market cap was, so I'm not saying to trade this, but the day I was watching it was, I think, on the 15th. And I was like, the stock, I can't remember if it opened up, down, or whatever it was, or maybe it was on the 13th. I don't remember what day it was, but I remember seeing, no. It must have been the 15th, because I remember seeing it on the 13th, and it had that crazy good day. And just because it pops up, because it's one of like the top, because I don't even know what the percentage it had that day. It was what, like 100-some%. So sometimes I just see the name and I'm like, wow, look at that thing jump. And then on Wednesday, I was like, hey, there's that Sober name, and it was gapping up in the morning. I'm like, I bet that one could take off. And I was like, I wonder if I bought right now, how it would do. And if I had bought right when I looked, I think it was at like 160.
Yeah.
It would have been a ridiculous return that day. And I was like, damn, maybe I should focus on some of these super small caps. I'm like, you imagine you hit that on a day? Don't get me wrong, extremely risky. Do not take that kind of financial
that is
advice.
extremely.
I'm just saying it's something I happened to be watching right when it worked. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, there's something to it still, even way down here.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, what's his name? Max. He likes these kind of ones. This would benefit.
It is a strategy, right?
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think that day I looked at 160. I looked at 160 and then I was like just kind of watching it in the background. And it was at like over $2, like 2 something. And I was like, man, if you had done this, this was like going to be like a 30% return or something in a day.
Yeah.
Or whatever that turns out to be. Or maybe it was 20%, but still, I mean, what an incredible return for a day. But huge risk, because you have to think like you are definitely, this is definitely a pump and dump scheme. Just,
Yeah.
you know, this is not, that's for other traders competing. That is not a real business. I mean, it is. Sorry if you work there.
The only 2 names I have on my watch list nowadays is NAVN, which is a software stock.
Okay.
And then FSLY, Fastly.
Yeah, Fastly.
I think Fastly can, if it manages to break above like $21, I think it can go a little bit.
Dude, Fastly right now, buy that on the 20. That is touching that 20 like constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
And it does look good. I actually I think that chart for Fastly and the volume that it had on Friday being such a big down day.
Yeah. This is also a stock that is, you know, a lot of people are trading it.
I'll probably put that on one of my lists just to make sure I have it.
By the way, this was the ticker that I made the most stupid trade I've ever done in.
Excellent. Nice work.
Yeah. That was on Wednesday, I think it was.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is, man.
Those are 2, and I'm just gonna go and show you like the software lists here, because I'm using Finviz, the names of the groups, and they categorize software into 2 different groups. It's called software application and software infrastructure. So I'm gonna go through both of them. But my point was like, if the software groups will be the strong group moving forward, there's a lot of stocks I can see here now that have kind of just started the move. You know, for example, CCC just now above the 150 EMA. Fastly, another one. GWURE. You know, there's a lot of them if I just scroll through the list here. And I think PANW, Palo Alto, that looks good. Looks a bit extended in terms of what my criteria are, but it looks very good, I think. Speaking of 52-week highs, you know.
Yeah.
NAT looks a bit good, I think. Here is another one, NTSK. Perhaps just started a bigger move. This one, Dane, is CRWD. I saw it. I've had it on the list, and I do not understand why I didn't notice it here on Friday, 26th of June. Because if I use the replay function and I go back here, like this looks good, right?
Yeah.
I do not understand why this didn't come on my radar.
Oh, dude, it's always easier to think that than not. Yeah, it's a beautiful breakout right there.
Yeah, and then you would of course probably still be in it. It depends on how you would play it and which average you would have used, moving average. But it did not break the 21 day, which is kind of found support on when it got tight here. So maybe it would be natural to use the 21-day EMA here for trailing stop loss after you trim. But yeah, that's one that I think still looks good. QLYS. I've been tracking this one, NUAI. Look at the sideways move. It's gone sideways for quite some time now. So not interested to buy it here, just tracking. And then also, you know, BlackBerry has done really well. Right now it looks a bit more ugly, but if you can bounce off the support levels here, I think there's a lot of opportunity still in the software groups if they continue to perform. And I'm of course in Dave, which I hope I will be in forever.
Hey, you never know. Some of those
No.
stocks, they do go for essentially forever.
Perfect the bounce of the 9 EMA for Dave for quite some time here, you know.
I know. No, I think the sector looks good. Actually, when you were talking about Fastly, the other stock that sort of reminds me of is Band.
Band, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Band.
have
I
them
think
too.
it had just tapped the 20 EMA for me.
Yeah.
But it just kind of looks like that general uptrend looks kind of good.
Yeah. Still, that's in the same group or software group.
This is telecom, but
Yeah.
in the idea that it's, you know, software and all that. So
Yeah. No, I think when I've done the scans lately and my daily watch list, I've decided to just, these are the groups I'm going to focus on. It's not going to be any more random trades. There's a reason that I want to focus on them, and that's the momentum is in this group right now. If you look at the volume coming in also on Fastly, it actually comes a little bit of a decent volume here lately, you know. Same with Dave. There's
Fastly, I like the volume on that one a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where you can find some momentum right now, and that's what I want to be. I want to be there, you know. PANW as well. If you look at the breakout on PANW on Friday, 26th of June, same there. Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Same with was that the same date for same date for CRWD, 26th of June.
Mm-hmm.
So those two, I've probably missed them, to be honest. But if they set up again, I mean, PANW is at the all-time highs here. And you know, when we first started out there, and that was our breakout, like when it breaks out to new highs, right?
Right.
So that is also a strategy.
Actually, PANW, as we're talking about Band, I mean, these two charts, and you know, they're in the same industries essentially.
Yeah, they are.
So they look very, very similar.
Yeah, NET is a bit more messy, but kind of the same. Yeah, a bit more messy maybe.
Yeah, it's just more volatile for sure.
Yeah.
Which it's actually kind of surprising. That's a huge market cap to be that volatile.
Yeah, it is. But ADR of 527.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I would not guess that it would have that high as an ADR.
No. But maybe if you look at the weekly, like there's a clear breakout, you know, on the second to last candle there.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, a lot of these charts you're putting up are like almost textbook in terms of either riding the 20 or riding the 10.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the more I think about at some point, I assume when you get to a certain size, you have to go to swing trading essentially. And I'm in my mind making sure I pay attention to all these things, because I know I've switched over to this type of scalping day trading style, but I know you can't do that for forever. And, you know, there will be diminishing returns because of the fact that as your size grows, you'll have to limit your companies. And then you're going to look for a longer time hold you know, and I just keep seeing that some of these are perfect chart patterns, and it's like you don't have to go into a lot of these names. You can just go into a few
And stick with them, you know.
Stick with like you just pulled up that what company was that had that chart? Was it FSLY? Oh, FSLY's one of what was it? What was the one that was just writing the 10 so nice?
Yeah, Dave. Was it not Dave?
Well, Dave is, but Dave isn't riding. Like Dave looks great back in May when it's riding the 50.
Maybe CRWD.
I think that one was riding the 20, wasn't it? Yeah, that one was riding the 20.
Yeah,
Either way,
in the
that's the
setup.
one you
Yeah.
looked at. It was riding the 10 so perfectly, and it's like,
Which one?
I don't remember.
Yeah, okay.
One of the names you just went over.
Yeah.
But either way, maybe it was PANW. PANW. That's what it was.
PANW does it, yeah.
Yeah. PANW is writing that 10 so perfectly in June that, like, I don't know how that one, if you're a swing trader, like, you can't miss that name. You shouldn't be able to. Like,
Apparently,
because
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, nothing should be riding the 10 that perfectly in that after a jump up like that. Like, this is Q's 5-star setup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. And
or maybe he can call it a 4.5. I don't know what you want to call it, but it bounces perfectly after a giant thing off the 20 and then rides the 10 until it breaks out. And it's like just a clean, clear breakout.
And look at what this did in 8th of April where the bull run started. It reversed.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It reversed back
down.
down.
Down there too.
Yeah. But it reversed. It tried to break off and reversed. It needed a bit more time, and then this sector got more and more hot. I was a bit confused because I saw some swing traders talk about how the software sector was breaking down when I noticed in my scans that they were actually doing really well. And
well,
I think
it might be that the overall sector is not doing as hot, but you have a few standouts.
Yeah, maybe the stock selections were different in my scans and his scans. You know, could have been just that, or how we categorize them. I'm just going by the Finvis groups.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I've seen strength in the software group for quite some time actually, but they did lag a little bit behind the semiconductor stocks since the bull run started in April.
Right.
But then, you know, now you see them grow into maybe some, and like the whole point by pulling out these lists now was to show that I think a lot of them can still have fantastic moves if we continue, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe you can call some of these maybe laggards, but at the same time, I don't know. What do you think about laggards and that whole concept, Dane? I understand, like, you don't want to own the laggard when the leaders start to break down, you know, because they're going to break down as well. And, you know, but don't you agree there's also potential, there's also big potentials in going into a laggard if the group continues?
Well, when I think of laggards, I think some people have a kind of like a miscommunication in terms of that. Like, most people say you want to stick in the leaders, and when they say leaders, like, that might be the top 3 stocks, let's say. Yeah. And yeah, you might have missed 1 and 2 being the leader in a sector, but if you get in 3 or 4 and they're quickly following up in their steps, I think that's what you're saying. And yes, some people may argue those are the laggards, but yes, I think in terms of watching a sector go, those could be huge returns as well.
Yeah, because you kind of need the confirmation from the leaders that the group are hot, right?
Yeah. So if you see then you might have perfectly setting up and the leader just went, then there's a good chance that one's going to break.
Yeah. And I mean, as long as you have the stop loss rules in place, your risk is the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you put the stop in place.
Yeah.
Shoot me.
Yeah.
But But yeah, so
No,
I'm interested where this next week takes us.
yeah,
Because like I
those
said,
are
I've been somewhat confident because my situational awareness is, like I said, it's really adjusted my rules in these down periods.
yeah,
And I've seen good success now in down periods. It's just you have to change your rules.
yeah,
And you know, I honestly, when I look back at the data that I've been collecting from all my trades, don't get me wrong, when we're in like a strong bull market like that, what month was it when we were flying for 2 months? Like April to June. I mean,
yeah,
the return is insane, and like you don't have to do anything, like just buy stuff.
yeah.
It will work. And you know, there you want to keep your stop loss loose. You know, that's what I found in those periods. Stuff's gonna work. It just takes a little bit of time, but everything's moving up. And now, as we move sideways and potentially downwards, you know, change that whole philosophy. Be very restrictive in what you go into. Make sure it's truly breaking out, and keep that stop tight. But yeah, like I mean, this is all common sense. I don't know what I'm even saying this for, but it's me seeing it in practice now versus you know, just
But at the
talking
same
about
time, this is what they say when they talk about this is simple, you know.
it. Yes, yeah, I
It,
agree. It is simple
yeah,
in concept. It's really hard, in my opinion, to execute. But it can be done.
yeah, it can be done. Just want to scroll quickly through my biotech list as well because there I'm still monitoring IBRX. Dane, are you?
I haven't looked at it in a minute, but it's still
IBRX.
rolling up.
I kind of had my line like this before, and it did break out on that one. And I tried to get in back here when it touched the 9 EMA, but then it reversed down. So I just kind of adjusted my baseline here. So maybe it's still gonna build this base.
Just
But
so
it's
you
just
know, yeah, I know you don't have the line, but it is following the 100 moving average perfectly.
yeah, okay,
Just so you know, if you
yeah,
throw 100 on your chart,
yeah,
it's tapping it every time and bouncing off it.
yeah. You mean it? You can almost draw a straight line here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just one I want to follow because I was in it in this move up here, and it was pretty successful. I have seen like this one can move when it's built, and there's still volume coming in, you know.
No, I mean,
So
it looks good to me.
there's a lot of interest. So I saw a tie. There was some news there, or some buyout news or something. I don't remember. You know, you have ELVN kind of broke out on Friday. Arley, you know, MBX had a good day. ORKA that I told you about. All of them kind of had, you can categorize. SLS had that good day, you know.
Yeah. FBRX continues to fly.
Which one?
FBRX.
Oh yeah, nice one. Yeah, so these three groups is my main focus, I think, in this because we always have to remember that, like you said, in this environment here, you're gonna have more than three groups you should focus on probably. But now you have to remember that we are not in that environment anymore. We are actually in a downtrending environment where things can turn way more ugly than they are now. So if you listen to Kulamagi's stream, he just says like, he tries to simplify things, right, when he speaks to his audience. So he just says like, don't trade in these periods. And that is actually a good advice.
It's not a bad advice because, to be honest, and part of it, the reason I'm trading is because I'm trying to learn, like, you know, what do you do in these situations? But, you know, most larger gap downs are between 10 and 15%, which right now we're only down like 7. So it could still go down if we did have like a real correction here. It could easily go down twice what it has right now.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind as you trade here, that the potential right now is tough.
Yeah. Just look at these crazy lines. When you start to draw them like this, right? It's just like every week up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
It's not easy to trade inside there.
And honestly, it brings up you made me think of a point too, is like, all the guys say it's pretty easiest when we get into this market, flip everything and start shorting. But that comes with its own, number of risks and things to think about.
Yeah.
Which I think that's why like Q and all those guys say until you can trade to make like $1 million doing, longs, you should wait to do shorts. And I think the reason why is you need to have a strategy so ironed out that so well and finally is successful that like before you're going to try shorting, which is even potentially more dangerous, make sure that you really understand, a weight and an edge, and then maybe in these environments, then you can turn into the short bear and go nuts. But
I think though, to learn about when you should short and how all of that works, what you should look for and stuff like that will help you on the long side as well. Even though you don't have to actually short, but just know the things to look for, because then you can see that, or maybe this would be a good short. And then if you didn't know that information, you kind of thought it was looking like a good long opportunity,
Right.
But you don't want to be short on, for example, this day here when it gaps up 2.5%.
That's like legitimately like large risk is the gaps when you're short something can be terrifying.
Because just like a couple of the days before, maybe you would be very stupid to be short there because of this 2 days up 3%, so probably common sense is like you would take off a lot of the risk there,
right?
But at the same time, maybe you also see that you think you have a thesis that it's gonna hit its head on these moving averages and break down again, and then you just took the chance and you're stuck there,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I probably do got to get going just because I got a busy day.
All good. There's like I said, I only have 2 names on my list for Monday. But I'm in 2 stocks, which is it's actually a lot for me right now. I think when we speak about this environment, because who knows, Monday could just like plummet down. It's not, to your point earlier, it's not that far down to the 150 EMA, like 5%.
Right.
So it can, which is also a little bit in line with this pullback we had here in the bull run. So maybe a little bit of a natural place to get to as well if it continues down. But let's see.
All right. Well, good luck everybody next week. Hopefully.
Who do you think will win the World Cup?
I think I'm just going to give it to Argentina just for, I just think they seem to have the edge right now. Spain is a good team, but I think they've had some games that looked a little bit closer than
they have been
Argentina.
solid. I think Argentina has played a lot of weak teams up until England.
Yeah.
But they beat England in the same manner as they beat those weak teams. Like at the very end, they gather some strength and they come back,
Yeah.
So, and Argentina is, no doubt one of the best teams in the world. And
right.
If they win, actually, they won the last World Cup, so you can say they are the best in the world. But I have been very impressed with Spain, so I'm going to say Spain will take it. And I think also France will take the bronze. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I think.
Super
I mean,
disappointed
you
in.
know football way better than I do, so like it's tough to say, but
Yeah.
I just think there's the Messi effect, and
Oh, they look super strong.
yeah.
Argentina looks strong. Like they have like these fighters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a great game. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Is it in Boston?
I'm not sure actually.
No, it's close to where you are based, I think. Like close-ish.
No, it's hosted in right here in Jersey.
In Jersey, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's where it's at MetLife, so like where the
Yeah.
Giants and Jets play.
Yeah, that's where we played a few of our games. And
Yeah, just
you have some amazing stadiums, or I have to say. Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, there's just a huge love of sports in this country.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
financial power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's one of the things America does well. So
Yeah. All right. Good luck to everyone for the coming week then, and I think we will back next week, Dane, right?
yeah, I might have to have you host again just because I'll be remote for sure.
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. See you then.
All right, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye bye.